What's the big deal with diversity? Why would a large corporation go out of its way to compose a workforce of people from all sorts of different kinds of backgrounds? Well, the people at GlaxoSmithKline say the answer is quite simple. Their so-called diversity and inclusion policies make perfect business sense.
We need to innovate permanently to take care of patients' needs. And from diversity, we can create that kind of environment where innovation appears. So I believe in a very uniform world, there is less chance to have creativity. So it's quite natural for a pharmaceutical company where you want to get inspiration, innovation, to try to capture talents from any origins,
Japan is a seller's market when it comes to labor. The unemployment rate is barely above 3%, suggesting a chronic worker shortage. Employers, especially ones in the fast-growing healthcare field, simply cannot afford to overlook talented individuals just because of their gender, cultural background, or other factors.
GSK is very much focused on this topic of how we can attract and retain talents, whatever their origins. Japan is a market of full employment, which means that competition will progressively displace. It will be, of course, as always, maybe salaries, but how do you attract people will depend on other factors. And I believe D&I is one of those factors that will make differences between companies.
The government's Womenomics initiative is targeting that they hold at least 15% of leadership positions in the private sector by 2020. GSK Japan has made big strides in that direction. Half its board members, in addition to 30% of its corporate officers, are women. But Fauchet says equality is not simply a matter of setting targets.
In GSK, we don't work with quota because quota might not be the solution to the problem exposed. I believe it's more a change of culture. It's more a kind of long journey which requires permanent communication, which requires training also, because in order to get to this level where we want basically to reflect the society in which we operate, by definition there are 50-50 balance between men and women. So how to find it in a company at all levels? It should be based first on merit and performance. So we should not try to discriminate in a way where being a man is a disadvantage. We can have ratios and objectives, but what is very motivating for women is to know that the environment is changing for them. I think there are small measures that could be taken. Some others are more major and they relate to daycare centers. As we know well, there are not enough, at least in the major cities like the Tokyo city. In a country where I understand that we sell more diapers for elderly than for babies, I think we should try to find a new way to stimulate the appetite to grow families. And this will not come from ratios, it should come from some measures, including the ones that facilitate the daily life of working mothers.
One of the newest issues for human resources departments is LGBT, or lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender. Demographers disagree on the exact percentage of the population who fall into this category. Many estimates say around 5 to 10%.
We have a few hundred people who might feel concerned by the environment in which they work if they are not properly recognized. So we are currently developing an initiative around this, and we will come out soon, just to make sure that working at GSK in Japan is seen as something which allows you to have your own life. We respect all origins, we respect all preferences, and this should be a factor of inclusion in the sense that people could be comfortable joining us, as they will know that the environment will not stress them because of this.
2020 is when the Olympics and Paralympics come to town. Lots of corporate sponsors are excited about being part of the greatest show on earth. GSK Japan has special reason to celebrate, A few of its employees are former Paralympians, and the company plans to focus on the events for athletes with disabilities, or as Fauchet prefers to say, with different abilities.
Paralympics are usually less advertised. They need more volunteers, and it's less a question of being in the newspapers than some other sports, where you want to see your name advertised, etc. So in the case of GSK in Japan, we look at the Paralympics as another opportunity for us to demonstrate our solidarity.
Whatever a job candidate's special abilities or background, Fauchet says the road to success at GSK knows no speed limits.
I would say what attracts people when they are young is to be recognized, to be trained, to have a certain perspective in their career, not to feel that they will enter a kind of box where they will get out 10 years after and then they will be promoted at that time. I think that has been unfortunately the case a lot in the past. So as a company we need to show that young people also can take positions in the company, and we don't need to wait until they are 50 or 60 to take higher responsibilities. Especially the young people who join us, if they can invest a bit of time on learning English, being able to speak it even with a French accent, it doesn't matter. But if they do this, then they have a chance to be part of a global corporation, read documents in English, be part of some rotations that take place not only in Japan but outside of Japan. And that's what we do more and more as a corporation. The world changes so dramatically quickly in Japan and outside of Japan. So it's actually quite a nice opportunity for young people, because young people adapt quickly. They are curious, so they like to learn new things.
Thank you for watching Business in Japan TV.